Hello YouTubers and welcome to another one of my Doctor Who action figure reviews. In today's review I shall be looking at the sound effects Dalek from the Dead Planet, from the second wave of Talking Daleks. So, let's take a look at this then. So, let's take a look at the articulation. We got 360-degree turn in the head, eye stalk moves up and down, the gun and the plunger on ball joints, and some free wheels. Those same as on all the Daleks. So, that's it then. That's the articulation. So, basically, this Dalek is from the Dead Planet, which, unless you know your classic Doctor Who history, like I do, who is the first episode of the first Dalek story, The Daleks. The reason why character decided to call this a Dead Planet Dalek is mainly because basically, the reason why character decided to call it a Dalek from the Dead Planet instead of the Daleks is because it would have been repetitive to call it a Dalek from the Daleks. Hence why we have a Dead Planet Dalek, which is my favourite Dalek, mind you. So, before we get into the detail, let's go through the sound effects. Now, the sound effects are basically the same on all the Daleks from the 60s. So if you have this Dalek, the Guard Dalek from The Chase, or basically the Power of the Daleks Dalek, or the Dalek Invasion of Earth Dalek, the drone, not the saucer pilot, because that was in the Dalek Boxer. Basically, they all have the same sound effects, and it's just like any Daleks from the 70s or 80s, barring the Special Weapons Dalek, they all have the same sound effects. So, let's get into this then. You basically turn it on, like that, and you basically press this button, which I like how they incorporated the button into the Dalek's hemispheres, because it's convenient. Anyways, so here are the sound effects.
Daleks are the masters of all. Daleks will destroy all life. Exterminate. Annihilate. Destroy. Daleks conquer and destroy. Resistance is useless.
And to get the exterminator noise, you basically press the button twice.
Exterminate.
And there we have it. Now, basically, I like how they include a sort of Pierre Hawkins-esque Dalek voice, but I just thought, well, seeing as though, the gun noise is actually from the Genesis of the Daleks, which is kind of annoying because that's in the 70s and not in the 60s. So, yeah, that's annoying. But, oh no, I still like the sound effects. Anyways, let's move on to the detail. Now, you may notice that this Dalek doesn't have any slats. So again, if you're a new series Doctor Who fan and not a classic series fan, and you wouldn't know that back in the 60s, these Daleks relied on static electricity to move, and in fact it was their main weakness in their first story. Is how the Doctor managed to defeat them. And so basically we have this. I like the blue hemispheres, they're very nice. You probably can't see it right. Right, but yeah. Now, this is actually sort of a custom of mine, actually. Now, Now, originally, this Dalek came packaged with a different eye stalk. Okay. Okay. The eye stalk this Dalek came with actually came with one with 5 rings on it, but in the Daleks, or the Dead Planet, or whatever you want to call it, this basically had... But the Daleks had 10 rings in that, and that's why I put on this Dalek. Now, you may be wondering that this Dalek's dome and eye stalk are actually from the enemies of the first Doctor Dalek, the AIM one that I reviewed a while back. So, if I just put that there, and get this one in. Now then. But because when I got these two, when packaged, both of these had the wrong eye stalks, so I swapped them round. Well, swapped the domes around anyways. Ace to make them both a little bit more accurate. You see this Dalek? 5 rings, sort of egg-cupped dome lights. I know they're meant to be more Mini Cooper-ish, but... yeah, you could get away with it being a Power of the Daleks Dalek, I guess. Or, well, a regular 60s Dalek. So, yeah, we have that. And as for the Dalek, the Dead Planet Dalek, this one has the Mini Cooper lights and the right eye stalk. And before you get... the original toy for this mould had clear ones, and that's how some of the Daleks in the Daleks actually had just clear ones. But if you've watched the TV drama An Adventure in Space and Time, written by Mark Gatiss, you would know that there was a scene in there which involved the introduction of the Daleks. And some of them had these lights on. So you could say, oh, well, I now have a Adventure in Time and Space Dalek. So, yeah. Other than that, it's just your regular 60s Dalek. And, yeah, but basically, how you sell... Well, if you have these 2 Daleks, but they have the wrong eye stalks, basically, just unscrew the base, unscrew the dome from the body, switch them around, and there you have 2 accurate Daleks ready to battle William Hartnell. So, there. I've always loved this Dalek. This is my favourite mould of Dalek, and honestly, it was nice to see this type of Dalek in Series 9. So, I mean, it did feel a little bit out of place having classic Daleks with new series Daleks, I admit. It feels a little bit unorthodox, but, to be fair, I do love a little bit of variety in the Daleks. So, yeah. And if I was to set whether to pick this up or not, I definitely recommend picking this up because, well, sound effects mold. But I also recommend you either get the Enemies of the First Doctor box set or the Chase box set, because those 2 sets have Dead Planet Dalek eye stalks, which you can use to swap around. So, yeah, that's it for this review. Honestly, I love this Dalek, and yeah, that's concluding it. So, thank you for watching. Don't know what I'll be reviewing next. I seem to have a penchant for reviewing Dalek figures. So, if any more of those come out, well, then you can bet I'll be reviewing those. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.